We are walking in that more and more, deepening into that frequency of abundance so that it is our known reality. And if we can all start to do this, we will begin to change how we see the world. At the moment, we see wars, we see famines, we see all of this, but it's because of that. This is what everyone believes, so that's what we're experiencing. But if we start to know the truth of who we are, we will start to change how we experience life, and the world will become a very different place.
Hello, welcome to the weekly brew here at Redefining Success with Emma and Iona. Welcome, Iona.
Welcome, Emma. This is a space where we share our journey to unlock abundance and to develop a soul-led business.
So, Iona, what's brewing this week?
What's brewing this week is a deeper level of, for me anyway, of letting go my mind. We had a beautiful trip up to the sacred lands of Avebury in Wiltshire. It was very special because we had a lot of revelations around our business, and the intention was to deeply listen to the land and where we're going. Before I went up, I did a journey to redefining success, the soul of our business, and I was told to stop trying so hard, to let go of my mind even more. So you don't need to know what you're doing. Dropping into the unknown. I thought that I was doing that, but I wasn't. There's this deeper layer of really go there, be open, be empty. Don't come with a predetermined agenda of what you think you're doing, which my mind desperately wants. It's like, can I just blank my mind, park my mind? Thank you, dear mind. You've got all these gorgeous ideas. I love you dearly, but I just need you to be quiet because I need to go listen up in Avebury. And I knew that it would be a process of creating a space of stillness so that what really needs to be heard can drop in. And this word revelation came, it's about something being revealed to us so that we can understand what's new and what's fresh and what wants to work through us that isn't controlled by the mind.
Yeah, I was really excited about our trip to Avebury, and it was really amazing. It was so powerful and fun and potent in terms of the revelations that we got for our work. And for me personally, to be back on that land felt very special and brought me a quietening of my being, a quietening of my heart and my soul, and a stillness that I really needed. I think I thought I was already in stillness, but I wasn't, or at least I wasn't as deep, and it's really brought me that, and I've really brought that back home since we've been back. I realised how important that is to me, to listen to not only what's around me with the land, but also my heart and my soul. I need a lot of that. I've had a life which has been extremely hectic and a lot of noise, and I need more stillness, but that depth of stillness, that depth of quiet, because that's where the untapped river flows, within me. So I feel like that's then a really important and interesting and kind of fascinating skill or tool I can bring to the business. I'm not sure how yet, but that's part of the revelation.
Yeah, and part of this journey for us, it's been so magical in how it's even started and how we've gone on this journey to unlock abundance. And for us, it's almost like just remembering that we are abundant. It's the truth of who we are, which somehow has been covered over with a lie that is in our society, that we have to struggle, that we have to compete, that we have to always be in our mind trying to figure out how to get ahead and have the plan and have everything figured out, because if we don't, someone else is going to beat us to it. And it's this horrible energy of wrestling with our own self and because of an innate fear that there's not enough, or that we're going to lose out, or that we're not going to make it, we're not going to survive. And we know at our core level this is a lie, which we're all living, which makes life very unpleasant and has led to a lot of atrocities between people, between countries. And we are on this journey to remember the abundance at our core. But to do that, we have to go quiet, because the land holds the truth of who we are, because we are a part of this fabric. We are a part of this fabric of life. So the land holds those memories, the stones hold those memories. And that quietness reminds us of who we are and brings us back to the truth of who we are, so that we can start to almost reprogram our brain to know this is our truth. We don't need to follow the same pathways that we've been following, which aren't in alignment with the truth of who we are.
Yeah, and from that place of deep stillness and deep listening, which it may be that you, like I did, have a very full-on life, caring, and I would only have pockets of time where I could go out and go into that deep stillness. And however it is, if you can take some time to do that, even if it's for a few minutes, step outside and just listen to the birds or look at the sky, be in the rain, be in the sun. There's a place in you that flows with that abundance, that knows the truth of who you are, that never forgot, that never betrayed you. That's a place within that is you at your very core, your very abundant richness, fullness. And that's always flowing. And it's been covered with the systemic lies, control mechanisms, and belief systems, false belief systems, which go from our culture, family culture, school culture, societal culture, world culture. And yet, abundance and source energy is eternal and prolific and infinite and ever expanding. That is within all of us. And so no matter how much these lies and controlling mechanisms come in, we can go within in a split second and tap into those ever-flowing eternal waters. And that's where your creativity is. That's where our abundance is, the eternal flow of life. And so then when you do that, which is what we're learning and discovering, is when you're giving in that river, there's a receiving. You receive, like the waterfall comes in, and then you flow and you give, and then you receive the waters from the waterfall, or the rains, or the oceans, metaphorically. And so therefore everything is available to us, everything is there, and the wisdom of the land holds this, the skies, the stones, the earth, the universe. And we are beginning that journey to really opening up to that and sharing that with you all.
Yeah, and for me on this journey, it's one thing speaking about it. We've spoken about this literally since we started, since our first video, because something in us just knows this, even if our minds are catching up with what we're doing. It's one thing to speak about it, but it's another thing to really embody it, for you to wake up and know that you're abundant, for you to wake up and walk through life as abundance, as connection to the fabric of life, as connection to nature around you, to know that you're part of this. It's like being part of a mycelial web that's got you. You know, that tree knows what's happening to that tree, and it's sending nourishment to go and support it in a forest system. It's like knowing I am connected to all of this, and I deeply trust that it's holding me. I deeply trust that when you know it, you're changing your whole quantum field. you walking in that trust, you walking, and therefore you are it, you are abundant, it is supporting you, it is nourishing you, what you need will be made available. And we were just questioning, you know, people who, a lot of people who are doing their soul work, why do they still not have the resources that they need? Why don't they have the money that they need? And I really believe this is because there's still this false programming playing out underneath the surface around lack, around money, around being in this system that is based on this false agenda, false ideology around abundance.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is a journey by visiting sacred lands, by being in the stillness of nature, by contemplating what's coming up for us as life reveals it to us, and learning to wire it into our remembering, into our cellular remembering of our body, so we can wake up each day and we are walking in that more and more, deepening into that frequency of abundance, so that it is our known reality. And if we can all start to do this, we will begin to change how we see the world. At the moment, we see wars, we see famines, we see all of this, but it's because of that. This is what everyone believes, so that's what we're experiencing. But if we start to know the truth of who we are, we will start to change how we experience life, and the world will become a very different place when we shift that way we're perceiving ourselves, and how we're walking, how we're waking up every day, and how we're moving through life.
Yeah. And I think in a way it begins with acceptance of where we're at, which isn't great, really, where we're all at on a global scale, and also radical honesty about where we're at. The trees, it might seem crazy, but they really do communicate through their root system in that way. When a human comes along, they warn each other. There's a really good book, I think it's called The Wisdom of Trees. I can't remember the author, but he describes all of this. He's studied them for years. And imagine if we could see the rivers flowing, that light river or the light diamond within each of us, and we actually went out into the world knowing that we're all abundant, perceiving each other's abundance, perceiving each other's light within, and how differently we would connect with each other, how much more happiness there would be, how much more we would smile, how much our minds would start to think, hang on a minute, that other stuff is a bunch of lies, that stuff we've been told isn't actually adding up to what I'm experiencing. And that is the world that we would like to see, where we can all see each other's light, each other's abundant flow. We don't, and then all the rivers will connect, all the lights will connect, and really we are anyway. It's just masked by all this crap that we're experiencing and been told and living within. But actually, really, we are connected like the roots of the tree, like the ecosystems that we live in and mostly destroying. We want to bring that back to life, to know that nature is us, we are nature. Nature is abundant, it knows its seasons, it knows its cycles. We have those too. To not fear death, that death is an illusion, that everything is a continuum of a thread of life. So when we know that deeply in every bone and thread and cell of our body, we shine that out, and then the connections start to, or we become aware of the connections, and they start to light up even more. You know, when you smile at people, they smile back, and that energy gets passed on. It's that, but on a bigger, more juicy, vibrant, abundant scale.
Yeah, I'm just seeing all the sparkles being added
to
being added to our world. Seeing the world. Once I had an experience of after doing a lot of emotional processing, I came out. I was in nature and just seeing it all in these vivid, sparkling colors, and it was like I was seeing the world for the first time. And it's like seeing the world through different eyes when we know it at a cellular level and program it. But I'm also really with how challenging it is for me to calm my mind down, and how it's almost like the mind has had to take control, because in a fear-based system, you're so vigilant, you're so looking out for survival and who's coming and who's going, and it's like a survival mentality. So the mind is almost on hyper alert, like how can I take over here to keep control of the situation that's very unsafe and very unstable. This world, it's so unsafe and unstable, so the mind jumps in out of a fear response to try and get control over that, to try and keep you safe. And it's like a deconditioning I'm experiencing, to just help my mind back off a bit. And you've done a great job, but it's like for me to enter this reality of what I really am in terms of abundance, and to be walking this diamond life, this I'm saying diamond because it's the sparkles, the points of light that all connect as consciousness, the fragmented consciousness that all recognizes its unity essence, which at the moment I'm seeing as all these sparkles of light, to know that deep in myself, and to come back to that. I need my mind to calm down. It's going back to that quiet place, where that hypervigilance doesn't need to be there. It's that quiet place where, like right now, we can hear the river flowing, this gentle breeze, the sun. It's so much here when we can come into this still place, and there's an out breath and a relaxation, and it's safe. But I'm really having to help my mind know its place and be quiet, and thank it for its really trying to help me, trying to keep me safe, all its wonderful ways out it has for me. But it can't have that role if I want to come back to the truth and authenticity of my abundant nature.
Yeah, and for me it's a remembering, like literally having my parts put back together. So I feel like my core I can come into with stillness and quiet, but there's bits that have dropped off along the way and forgotten who I am as a whole, in my wholeness. And it's like putting those bits back together and saying, oh yeah, this is who I am, this is what I'm here to do, this is how I do it, so now how do I bring it to the world, and as my flowing river, as a gift. And it is a process. I think when we first started this, we thought things would just happen, boom, boom, boom. And I think that there's a possibility for that. But the reality is, because we're shifting such deep-rooted patterns and patterning, especially about living in a world of lack, which we're all brought up with. There's no one is an exception to that. And so, because we've done a lot of emotional processing and self-work over the years, we've never really, even through all of that, we've never actually addressed the lack, false beliefs around lack. And this is just, global, that only a few people can be really wealthy at the top, and that's just not true. Everything is abundant. Everything is in its entirety and wholeness. And we are literally part of that web, of that fabric, of that weave of universal, ever-expanding, infinite life force. And so we are now in a process here at Redefining Success in stripping away those old layers, those old lies, and coming deeply into the truth of who we are. And that's, and then we want to be bringing that to you as well.
Yeah. And we're really excited, because it's been such a revelation, the whole start of this thing. It's not something our mind came up with. It's just been an arising, and we're really excited that our journey in this life is to remember this in ourselves and share it with others, and start to remember the abundant consciousness. And what is so exciting is, as we all start to remember this, what's going to disappear is competition with each other, the need to war with each other, the need to have one-upmanship, to compete. All of that fear-based, survival-based, fight-based energy will no longer have its place. Because as we remember our abundance consciousness, we can all relax. We can all just let's have a day out in nature, because we're abundant, everything's here, and we're in this flow, and life's supporting us, we're all connected.
Yeah.
And it's such a wonderful thing that this is where we're going, this is where we're heading with this remembering, and then we get to be on this amazing journey and be part of that. And
Yeah.
I love that we are at this time where consciousness is ready for this remembering.
Yeah, I just had a memory that every year on school sports day, well, my daughter refused to compete. She said, "Why do I want to compete against my friends? I love them." And so I had to write a letter to the head every year and say, this year Melody won't be doing sports day because she doesn't want to be in competition. She'd rather do something that's co-creative with her friends than be pitted against them. And actually the school would give her other jobs to do to support the younger ones. So she ended up sort of helping, and she'd go on the tannoy and, announce things on the sports day. And I really, there's things like that could easily be changed in our culture. Why do we have a sports day? Some people love it, and that's great. We're saying it's brilliant, whatever you are wanting to do. But actually what it does is it puts people as winners and losers. And when you strip all that away, imagine that's an illusion, that we're not winners or losers or somewhere in the middle in the mud. We are actually all got bright lights. And you start saying, what gifts do we share with our lights? What gifts do our rivers bring us? How does that manifest? And you bring that in from a really early age, you immediately start to shift culture. You immediately start to change the game, and to strip away the idea that you can only be top or bottom, winner or loser. That is an illusion. And I was grateful to my daughter because I had these thoughts, but because she refused to compete, then I had to put it into writing, give it to the head teacher, and maybe they will have thought about things in a different way, who knows. But there's the little things that begin to shift the change.
Yeah, and that really is the voice of the new generation, isn't it?
Really
Who just is born knowing that this doesn't feel right.
This doesn't work,
and these souls have been born at this time because it's time to change this.
Yeah.
And sure, a lot of people might love competing and have that energy, but I also think that it's honoring that it's that masculine drive energy, but and it does need a place. It does need a direction, and our society has almost taken away the role of that healthy masculine energy. So it's like we are gonna have to figure out when, coming into this new remembering of who we really are, those energies will naturally find their healthy place within it. And at the moment, it can only be in sport, or war. But what is the place in this connected world where we remember our connection to everything? And how does the healthy masculine energy show up in that? And people who have strong masculine energies will probably begin to go, or are going on those journeys now, and will be coming in with beautiful transmissions on the intended use for this energy, because I think everything has been hijacked with this, with the lies around lack and survival and having to compete. All of these energies have been hijacked in a way, having to be pushed into areas just to give them an outlet
Where they naturally wouldn't go.
where they naturally wouldn't go, but that's all they've got at this moment. So I'm really curious around what is this world going to look like when we all start remembering abundance at our core, our connection with each other at our core, and the healthy expression of these beautiful masculine, feminine energies, all the energies that are in us. When we really listen, we come back to that quiet space and listen. What is the energies in me when I'm fully connected, and how do they want to express in the world to make it this beautiful expression of life, rather than a tearing down and a destroying of life.
Yeah.
So on that note,
I think we could be making an ABBA video here with the wind blowing through our hair. I like to think of that sort of thing.
Yes, you can sing us a song if you want. Right, so from this beautiful
Gorgeous lake with lovely reeds and ducks.
Yeah, and butterflies and bees.
Yeah.
Thank you to the abundance of nature and the land. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time. Here's to redefining success.
So much love.
Bye for now.